We're living through a pivotal shift in enterprise technology. AI agents are no longer a future concept. They're here, they're multiplying, and they're operating inside your organization right now. But are your identity and access management practices keeping pace? The 2026 Agents of Change report reveals a troubling confidence gap, one where organizations believe they're prepared, but the data tells a very different story. Let's start with the perception gap. Executives report high confidence in their IAM maturity. In fact, a majority believe their organization is well prepared to manage identity and access across both human and non-human entities. But when you dig into the technical reality, the picture changes dramatically. Security practitioners on the ground tell a different story, one of fragmented tools, incomplete visibility, and policies that were never designed with AI agents in mind. This disconnect between perception and reality isn't just an embarrassing data point, it's a risk multiplier. So what exactly is an AI agent? At its core, an AI agent is an autonomous software entity that can perceive its environment, make decisions, and take actions, often without direct human oversight. These agents don't just respond to prompts. They initiate workflows, call APIs, access data stores, and interact with other systems. And critically, each one carries an identity. Each one needs credentials. Each one requires access controls. The challenge is that most organizations weren't built to manage identities at this scale or this speed. Here's the good news, and there is good news. Today, less than 25% of non-human identities in most organizations are agentic. That means we still have a window, a brief but real opportunity to build the zero-trust foundations, the governance frameworks, and the automated controls that will be essential as agentic workloads scale. This is what we're calling the gift of time. The question is whether your organization will use it. But here's where it gets complicated. There's a 29-point gap between the percentage of executives who say they understand the risks of agentic AI and the percentage who say their teams are actually equipped to handle those risks. That's the maturity paradox. Awareness is not readiness. Knowing there's a problem and having the people, processes, and technology to address it are very different things. And part of why readiness lags is that the frameworks we've relied on were built for humans. Traditional IAM models assume a person behind every identity, someone who logs in, authenticates, and can be held accountable. But AI agents don't work that way. They operate continuously. They don't have lunch breaks. They don't follow the same behavioral patterns that anomaly detection tools were trained to flag. Legacy frameworks simply weren't designed to govern them. This is compounded by what we call the credential jungle. Non-human identities, service accounts, API keys, tokens, certificates, have proliferated across enterprise environments with little oversight. They're often over-permissioned, rarely rotated, and poorly inventoried. When an AI agent inherits or generates credentials in this environment, the attack surface expands significantly. And the risks aren't theoretical. Credential-based attacks on non-human identities are already among the most exploited vectors in enterprise breaches. Two concerns rise to the top when security leaders are asked about their biggest challenges with non-human identity management. First, overprivileged access. Agents and service accounts routinely receive more permissions than they need, and those permissions are rarely reviewed or revoked. Second, sheer complexity. As the number of non-human identities grows, managing them manually becomes impossible. Organizations need automated, policy-driven controls that can scale with the environment. This is exactly the gap that OpenText IAM is designed to close. Built around three core pillars: automation, control, and trust, OpenText IAM provides the infrastructure to discover, govern, and secure non-human identities at enterprise scale. Automation reduces the manual burden of credential management and access provisioning. Control ensures that least privilege principles are enforced consistently, even as agent populations grow. And trust provides the continuous verification and auditability that zero-trust architectures require. Zero trust isn't just a buzzword. It's an operational necessity for the agentic era. Zero-trust guardrails mean that no agent is trusted by default, that access is continuously verified, and that every action is logged and auditable. It means building identity governance into the architecture of your AI deployments from the start, not retrofitting it after an incident. Organizations that adopt these principles now will be significantly better positioned as agentic AI becomes the norm. The findings are clear. The organizations that will thrive in the agentic era are those that treat non-human identity as a first-class security concern. Today, before the window closes. Download the full 2026 Agents of Change survey report to get the complete data, the benchmarks, and the actionable guidance your team needs to close the confidence gap and build an identity program that's ready for what's coming.